I jack off every day. Oh wait, never mind.
And we
Well, we just got banned off YouTube.
Yes.
I beg your pardon.
It's dark matter and Gilkin.
Was that? Is that the sound of Christmas? Is that the sound of Christmas? All right, wait, are we doing that? Are we doing who is gonna clap again?
I'm always the clapper.
Like,
I'm the clapper.
hey, it's good to have everybody back on. We had a couple episodes with just me and Dark Iceman. Dark
Not
Man was
me.
on the.
I was gone.
You were on
I was
the road.
in the world.
Did you see that lovely artwork I created for your absence on our channel? Yeah.
No.
So of course.
Created artwork.
Of course you didn't see it.
We
do have-
We have a channel. We actually do a show.
That we are doing a show, yes.
So you were in Europe, and then you were summer down south partying. I saw.
I went to Lisbon. Never been to Lisbon before. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
I've been
11
with,
out of 10.
I've been with Liz for a while. What? Is that what we're talking about?
Something like that. Lisbon is next level. Oh my gosh. It is insane. What an insane country.
Yeah.
What an insane history.
I hear it's a lot warmer than where Iceman lives. Too bad he couldn't be here because he's on the road apparently. We have two friends of ours in the channel, Ark from Wigle.
Ark.
And whoever that clean cut, shaven ex-con from.
I got a link on the email and I clicked on it. So, hi there.
Dude, so before the show started, it was just me and Ark, and then Iceman joined us, and I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? I'm like,
And then I joined and I was like, who the fuck is that guy?
The only one who's
Oh,
polite
boy.
is actually Ark. Give him some credit for that.
Yeah, so
I like that clean cut shapes. Like, yes.
it's been ages since we had Ark on the show. Thank you very much, Ark, for joining us once again. I know this is a new format. We have now Iceman joined the team. We're on YouTube. We're as far as the channel goes. Thank you all for subscribing. It's been a stellar kickoff. We're doing
thank
great.
you so much, everyone. Appreciate you.
We
All the
love you.
hearts.
We appreciate
love
you. And
Couldn't do this without you.
if you go travel to see your family over the holidays, make sure that you steal their phones while they're sleeping and subscribe to our channel in the meantime. So the
Keep it
next
on Insta repeat.
yeah. And then like all the content. Like I said before, the podcast is this main show, but we have a bunch of shorter clips of things of people traveling here and there on the YouTube channel. So if you want to get away from reality and spend 5 minutes looking at dumb shit, us doing dumb stuff, then come over to the channel. Quick update. Iceman, you were saying something before the show that regarded one of our most successful episodes this year, which was the Flipper episode.
Yeah, the Flipper episode was the
You have a news
best.
update?
Not about that episode, but the
Right.
last episode we did that aired here, and the BLE episode. So
Right.
what I heard is, or I saw that Apple released version 17.2 of the firmware, and that sorts out the BLE spam issue on Apple phones, at least. Given that, we all know what's going to happen. They're going to transition to another system. It's going to be on Android. It's going to be on whatever. Yeah. But yeah,
Or they find a way around it and it still works.
You also did a I don't want to call it a spin-off because we're the official news channel for the team, but you did a private news review opinion piece on your channel, right?
Yeah. About
And,
there was some things happening there in my world. Yeah. In RFID world, yes. But I cover that on my channel. I have one as well, but you all know that shit.
Yeah.
It's not that important. But if you want to check that out, it's more dedicated towards RFID hacking. And one
Do
big
go
deal-
check it out.
There was a talk on HushCon, and they released a key diversification function, or KDF, so what we used to call a keygen algo for a hospitality system, Dormacarba soft lock system, meaning that you can generate the keys needed to read the MyFair Classic cards, and when you have those, you don't have to do the key recovery. So that's one of the big vectors in RFID hacking, is to figure shit out. Either you do brute force attacks, key recovering attacks with known old stuff, crypto stuff like Arc, people like really brilliant people come up with. And then if you figure out the generation of keys, you don't have to break them because you can calculate them, usually by the UID. And that was released, talked about. So that made news in that sense. It means that you can copy a Cypherlock card in less than 2 seconds. And I wanted to give a pull out. Yeah, of course, it's just reading it because you have all the keys. Boop. This is what you, Dark Matter, this is how you got your pool access in Singapore. That's that algo that used that. So yeah.
Wow.
So if you want to have access
Gone
to
full
big,
circle.
that's what you need to do, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hey, Mike or Dark Matter, how was Black Hat EU?
Oh, it was amazing. It was really fun. As far as the conference goes, there was very little issues, which is pretty amazing. Things went just pretty smoothly as far as network and infrastructure. And I'd never been to London before. Well, I've been to Heathrow a bunch of times, but I'd never been to London. So it was fun to get out and go to the city and eat the food. And I just had a blast. Also, my birthday happened while I was there. We snuck away and got a day away and went to Paris. So I got to experience
the city of
tunnel.
love. The city of love.
Yeah. Went to the Eiffel Tower.
I think this is gonna be our last official recording for this year. So we have Ark on our show. It's been a long time. It's the first time we have Ark on the new format, season 2. It's the Wireless Shit Show Reloaded. Looking back on 2023 from a Wigle standpoint of view, how was 2023?
You know, we had some big ups and big downs. I think a lot of people have heard that we finally had to switch to a email verification model after an incident a couple of weeks ago, and that's unfortunate. On the other hand, we ran a really successful worldwide war drive this year, our biggest one yet. Definitely taxed our ability to keep up with it, but we're bringing in reinforcements, so we're gonna find a way to make that work. We've got some volunteer help with that. We kept up with the pace of change. We added some cool new features, and all in all, I'd say it was a pretty great year. Lesser known stat: we broke 2 billion in Bluetooth.
That's
So,
awesome.
so the email verification, that's a big step from Wigle, right? Because Wigle always, your stance was like, people are like, we want to send you full packets, and you guys were like, no, we don't want any of the data that we don't want.
Yeah, there were a few different things that happened during about a 3-week time period. I think it was probably a few different actors and a coincidence of timing. There was a big harvesting attempt. One of those actors registered something like 50,000 accounts in 3 hours.
Jesus Christ.
It was a little out of control. We were kind of expecting it, and we were able to respond, I think, pretty quickly. They're probably quite disappointed with how things turned out for them, if they've noticed yet. Maybe they're watching this, who knows? But I think the other thing that happened was Thanksgiving weekend is a wonderful time to, try and take advantage of a US-based project. So I think that there were a couple of other folks doing less noticeable things that, some minor EULA violations that got the ban hammer as well. Sorry, folks who were just slightly skirting the policy. We were battening down the hatches, and some things probably didn't go great there. And as always, if you're a real human being, you can reach out to us, and we'll find a way to work with you.
So the email verification is only for new signups. It's not retroactive.
It's not retroactive yet, and that's
Okay.
mostly because we kind of encouraged people to only use a real email address if they wanted to be able to reset their passwords. Obviously, that data doesn't go anywhere. We don't spam people. We don't do anything else. But we finally realized that just the sheer volume, we needed a way to slow people down. ReCAPTCHA wasn't doing it. People were just busting through the doors. So
Such a fucking dick move to do it on,
Yeah, that's
on a
unfortunate.
big holiday. I think, if that guys or girls or whatever shit is watching here, it's like, shame on you. Shame on you.
Dude,
Bring
you
back
must
public shaming.
you have
Of that.
fucked up seriously if a clean shaven Iceman drills on you.
Yeah. It's like, that's how bad it is. Daddy Iceman is here.
So
Shame on
Ark, Wigle this year turned 22.
22, yeah.
Hey, Ark, the Worldwide Wardriving, which was its 3rd iteration in the new format, not counting the long time ago Roamer and the other gangs. Rest in peace, Roamer. How was it I think this year we had a lot more contestants, and I think the total upload was more than previous.
A lot more contestants. I think over 150 active contestants,
Right.
over 300 registrations. Most continents, I don't think we got anybody in South America this year. Maybe it's been a while since I've looked at it,
Right.
but bigger numbers than ever before. And people have really turned this into a science. You've
Yeah.
seen the rigs that people carry now, insane, beautiful feats of engineering, punching holes in your car roof so you can fit more antennas up there, driving around in a minivan that looks like a hedgehog, all kinds of crazy things. It was really intense. There were a bunch of people here in my backyard in San Francisco putting real numbers on the board, in spite of the fact that I've ruined the city for everybody.
Yeah.
Whatever you did there. It was intense, and people are getting good at this. They've started to really understand the scoring mechanism. They've started to really understand quad selection, and so I think that means that we need to make it a little more difficult next year.
Did you see an increase in diversity in regards to devices being used?
I think the J Hewitt boards
Right.
have been huge. Different iterations of that going on right now, and Segfault built this beautiful tiny version of it that he presented at DEF CON this year, because you can package this up with non-lithium ion batteries and ship it places, and it'll just keep logging quietly in a box in the back of a UPS truck indefinitely, or wherever you send it. It's great. It's a magical thing. And then when it arrives at its intended destination, you pop out the SD card and upload your gigabytes of data, and the Wigle servers make a sort of grunting noise as that happens, and then everything's fine. I do have a Segfault box here. He was kind enough to send me a cute 3D printed case.
Look at that.
Aperture for the GPS there. You can see it's well ventilated. It's a beautiful little design. I think
it would be interesting to see like any sort of issues that they had with like GPS like striations, or where they were getting like bad signal because of like the delivery trucks, or any sort of weirdness being inside of the box, being inside of packaging. Like what sort of like anomalies did they have?
I do. The talk is on the RFHS YouTube channel, and you should absolutely watch it. It's a great talk. The local delivery routes filled in beautifully. But the thing that happens is when you load these into progressively more collapsed storage, so you offload the UPS truck and put it onto one of the big trucks, that cargo container gets tossed into a boat or loaded into a plane, or so pretty soon there's just too much interference for GPS to get through. But on the local delivery routes, it is more than sufficient to do it. And I've been playing around with it by testing it around and comparing it to my phones, and it's pretty great. This is the miniaturized version of this setup. There are increasingly more serious versions of this setup happening too.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at community activities, various social medias, I think this year was a vibrant year for custom rigs, but on both spectrums, like super big ones and then super small ones, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Do you see that diversity over at the monthly activities too, or?
Honestly, the leaderboard is still filled with the Android app. That is by far the most common source of data, just because it's so accessible. Not everybody knows how to building and carrying around their own rig, but the app still contributes the
But
ledge.
even like this year, the app went through a couple changes, right?
I would love to tell you about the updates to the app.
Right.
So one of the things that's been changing recently is Google has started a drumbeat of sort of forced upgrades. So the storage upgrade, where we couldn't, it got much harder to get your files. Now you have to use a share intent and upload it to Google Drive or Box or something like that, or nearby. If you have another like Google device, you can literally do the equivalent of AirDrop and just shift it over there. Unfortunately, the days of the equivalent of the SD card, like the open storage on Android, are pretty much over now. They've been tightening permissions around. They replaced the old GPS core and substituted the new hotness, the GNSS core, and now everything has to use that. And they've been rolling old devices off the edge of the earth. And so we've had to try and keep this available on the widest range of devices possible. But I think we're basically basically to Android 6 and lower, or 6 and up now. We can't support those old 443 devices and stuff like that. Although I did figure out a way to get the old devices to install the old Google compatible devices. I can't do it on FOSS, to install the TLS 1.3 core, so you can still connect to our servers through the old Droid branch. We just can't list it in the Google Play Store anymore, so you have to go to our GitHub and download the APK to get it. I wish
that's
I wish I
the
could
way you
list.
can do it, right? You have
Yeah,
to
but
have
if it's
either
just
official or that one.
and the official one won't work on those old phones anymore. So this is what we can do there. But we've done a bunch of other cool stuff too. So for those who were at DEF CON, we announced interplanetary stumbling. We now support star body sub-body notation in the headers of our 1.5 and up CSV files. I wanted desperately to give.
Wait, has there been an upload besides you original researchers from the?
We have no verified data from any other from anything other than Sol 3.0 us right now. We have test data from those other things to make sure that we could accept and plot it. But yes, there's nothing particularly exciting going on in the solar system yet. However, it's about having the capacity when people can afford to get a Wardriving rig to these places.
Right.
We'll be standing by, and Dragorn from Kismet also supports that in his export file now too. So and they're ready. Wardriving is ready for the new frontier.
Well, we'll wait for Drago.
I was talking to a couple of my friends, and we were having a discussion on if the migration to Mars was becoming a thing, if we would go or not. And I said no, because Mars is going to be like Mastodon. It's going to have a bunch of communities that are vibrant for the first year, and then people will be like, "Oh, we're not maintaining this community anymore." And I'll be on Earth going, all the assholes left, and it's kind of okay over here,
It's the asshole rapture. Is that what happens? We do have some other cool features that we've added to. We've got been working with the Open Roaming Coalition to add their RCOIs to the client.
Who are the Open Roaming Coalition?
Yeah,
this is a group of people who basically want to use. You see some examples of something that works like this in the Xfinity network from Comcast. But what if instead of needing some corporate overlord to do this, you just had the ability to use permissioned Wi-Fi all over the world?
There's already a really good implementation of it for education called Eduroam.
Yes, they're a part of the coalition.
Eduroam's dope. I love it. I used it in Europe. I've used it all over Utah. I've used it all over the country. So,
yeah, we'll be supporting searching for that through Wigle and detecting it in the client. So that's an exciting change. We built a new search interface for the Android client. Finally, people were really complaining about that, and they were right too. It had just sort of, I think that was one of the pieces of code nobody had touched in 5 or 7 years or something like that. So that should be better. We added at the insistence of Zeno Kova at the Wireless Village at DEF CON this year, we added support for Bluetooth manufacturer IDs. So now we can figure out, even if the OUI doesn't match up for anything, we can figure out who made the device by the stuff that's in the beacon in a lot of cases.
Which I think that research is now public, right? Can we talk about it?
Xenos?
Yeah.
I know he gave the talk. I don't know where
Hack in the Box. It was Hack in the Box.
URL. Yeah, that's so that's really interesting stuff. And what it means is we can kind of decode more things about this, and you can see what's going on around you. And so much of this is the Apple roaming beaconing stuff, random short-lived addresses that it's using to send little bits of payload about COVID exposure, about, hey, are you my home computer that I should pair with? Lots of noise in the Bluetooth space that surrounds.
Let me scroll back for a second.
Disney World wristband thing.
Yeah.
Let me scroll back to the Open Roaming Coalition. So the basic idea is that everybody shares their infrastructure in a way that people can have roaming on Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, and you sort of have the idea that there can. Oh, what? I can't even tell what that is. Is that in the 90s?
Yeah, this is a Fera router.
Oh my God!
So for the old folks in this who are looking at this used to be a similar idea that the Fera network you could sign up, get one of their routers, and it will set up two networks, right? One that you used, and then half of your bandwidth would be available to other fun network users. So
I vaguely remember that, but I have a more important question here.
yeah.
Intaro, how long have you been holding on to that thing and why?
And how long were you waiting for us to talk about something similar so you could reach in your shelves and pull it out? Holy shit,
I mean,
man!
you have to give a man some credit. I mean, he's a guy who never throws away one cable. We all have a cable box, right? But L, he's got a box with gadgets.
And this, yeah, no, I have a whole workshop full of gadgets.
You got a whole wall full of.
Yeah. So the initial fun, and this is from the early one. So I think this is actually version 1 of their routers, or version 2 even. Back in 2006. So it's almost 17 years ago. And when you mentioned the Open Roaming Coalition, I'm like, wait, that sounds like, hold on, let me dig through the box. And I just but
That's awesome.
Can't believe you
That's
still
just
have
awesome.
yeah. So anyway, sorry, but so there are a lot of new updates coming on the app side, the search overhaul and whatnot. Is there going to be any major changes coming down the website?
We are in the midst of a major backend storage overhaul right now. I think in terms of changes to the website, immediately that's going to look more like things working faster. Wiggle's been going for 22 years now, and that means 22 years of tech debt. So before all of these other things, I have been working on rewriting the upload handling system. It's one of the few pieces of the old code that's still running on a daily basis, and I have a working replacement. I just need to test it at scale.
So the major trilateral rewrite happened last year, right?
Yeah, trilateration went into production last year. That runs everything now, and it's you might have noticed that all the smears on the map vanished and became sensible locations. Even if it was a flight path, it would centralize on something, and that's because of a much more advanced cluster trilateration than our initial stab. Things didn't average in between locations anymore. If we had sort of a tie in quality, there's always a best signal, and we always show you that on the maps now.
Yeah, so I think what people forget is that Wiggle is really a labor of love from your team, right? I mean, you and the other back-end geniuses, 22 years, and unlike Iceman, who made millions off his Proxmark and built a castle in the outskirts of Sweden.
I heard it was an orbital platform.
that's
the strikes.
That's the annex.
I got a spatial elevator. Yes.
So,
Nice.
but it's truly if people wanted to support you, what would be the best way to support you?
There is always, when you register, and even if you don't choose to answer when you register, there's always the allow use of data for commercial purposes. That's great. Just uploading, even if you'd prefer we never use it for commercial purposes, still makes it shows us that you care, and we love that. We'll always respect your wishes on that.
I think given with the new we've seen a lot of harvesting attempts over the last couple years, especially, and we also you guys had to issue out warnings of people offering crypto tokens or people pretending to be able to sell you the whole sell the whole data set and whatnot. What does the commercial opt into the commercial usage and mean for the end user and your side?
It means that the data that you upload will be put into a new, also trilaterated commercial set. So it's 5% of all the data, or of all the unique access points in Wiggle, one way or another, have been seen by somebody who said, yeah, we can use this. So there's a separate set of data based on only the inputs that people have allowed for use in the commercial subscription. And the way that this works out for us is we basically say to people, look, this is a public resource, but everybody gets sort of equally egalitarian access. If you upload, your query limits will be a little higher. If we have signals that you're a human being, your query limits will be a little higher. Another change that we had to make during this harvesting attempt is the initial query limits are now lower than they were before, and I hate that. It was too overwhelming.
Do you see an increase in harvesting efforts over the last couple of years, or?
I see an increase in sophistication.
Oh.
They've gotten better at it, and now things have changed again, and they'll take time and they'll get better at gaming that, and we'll keep being good sysadmins and good stewards of the data. And
I think
keep
it's
massive.
remarkable what you've been doing. So getting back to the idea of, how could people donate to you, something like that. Is there like a PayPal or a Ko-fi or whatever?
We
or
don't
PayPal?
accept donations right now. You can absolutely help get the word out. You can upload. You can come buy us drinks at Shmoocon or DEF CON. Honestly, I think my favorite thing this year has been working with some new war drivers during the Worldwide War Drive. They found one of them found an actual bug in the client. She had turned off the sync time from network on her phone. The phone was basically operating time zones ahead. We were disqualifying the data because it was reporting that it was measured in a time zone that was already outside of the contest. As the Terminator, as the sun rolls around the planet and the contest ends, their phone thought it was in Korea when they were, here in the States.
So my Samsung does that all the time because this is the Korean version of the Samsung S21, and so it's an inherent thing.
But you're not scoring on the board, so it doesn't really matter, Mark.
Oh,
Damn! Shots
ouch!
The fire, man. It's like
Ouch.
burning.
Ouch!
Oh, man.
One of these days, I'll have time.
You've been saying that for the last 3 years, my friend.
So I think it's kind of easy to hear about Shmoocon. Are you going to be there, dude?
I will absolutely be at Shmoocon this year. I think all three of the Wigle guys will be there. So if you want Wigle, if you are our harvester and we thwarted you, and now all you want is revenge, that's where you get us. You can finish us.
They have white coats as well, so you can see them very clearly.
It was so easy to spot. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. Talking about the overall community, I did want to give a shout out to the Hardhat Brigade because they came in strong and they are now ranked number 2 globally, which is insane considering that their membership is 52 people. The UK War Drivers is 119, Net Stumbler is 265. So well done.
They have a bar to entry, which is silly hats. These are 52 people who would make a silly hat to War Drive, and that gives you a barometer of.
You called it silly. I think it's awesome.
I love the hats.
Don't you affiliate as a Hardhat Brigader, El?
I'm not a Hardhat Brigader. I am friends of the Hardhat Brigade. They're all good friends of mine, and I think it's awesome. They had their 24 hours of Hardhat Brigade war driving again this year.
Which time? They've done it like 4 times this year. They did the 72 hours. They've done
Right,
24 hours. They do a shitload.
Congratulations to them. Hey,
Nice.
Ark, what do you foresee as the next big upgrade or feature enhancements that you can talk about that you guys are planning on?
Man, that's wild. I feel like we have an endless roadmap of things, but I'm not sure. You want something big. You want something sexy, and I'm trying to figure out
We don't want that. We want something personal. We want something.
Space was cool. I still hold out hope that someday we'll be able to stumble on iOS devices and not just Android. But I'm trying to think of what's really exciting. We've talked a lot about spatial visualization.
So what do you predict for 2024 in terms of WiggleNet and stuff?
I think we are going to see our biggest registration day in 2024 when somebody discovers just incredibly popular but poorly secured internet connected sex toy, and everyone's going to flock to Wigle to try and find them all. That's my prediction.
Very cool, very cool. Given the fact that we have Ark on, there's a small little news item I wanted to cover that's Wi-Fi related. So this gentleman had issues with his internet, so he had to call his Wi-Fi company, and I don't even know why they did this, but the customer support engineer asks for the password of the Wi-Fi router. He had to explain his password over the phone, except for the fact that his wife was recording it and streaming it on TikTok. Now the password was more nuts in your mouth.
This all comes together though when you find out he was an almond farmer. So
Sense. Yes.
So she writes, your internet has been out for 2 days and your husband finally gets humbled for being a dumbass and calls support. And then the Wi-Fi company asks, what were you using for your password? The husband pauses and says, I'm so sorry for what I'm about to say. See more nuts in your mouth is the password. Yeah. So might want to work on the password.
Or the registration link and be able to like reset it without having to see the password or say the password.
Yeah. And the fact that this video apparently went viral for a bit, and there are like comments from other people who working at cable companies going, oh, you read the offensive passwords we see all the time. And I'm like, oh God, you know. Any
Turns
thoughts?
out we're all just dirty humans.
But you can't be surprised. People, people and passwords. It comes to the idea of, is passport obsolete? Should we have a different way of identifying computers? And then
Yeah.
people will do something that they remember easily, like that. And these nuts might be very good.
So Iceman, what's the password on your Wi-Fi network at that massive castle outside of Scotland? Stockholm.
Oh yeah. I just upgraded my Wi-Fi to an ubiquitous thing, long range AP. So I actually changed.
See,
my
that's how
password to
fucking
10
huge
years.
his castle is, right? He needs a long range Wi-Fi, industrial strength one to cover, like corner to corner.
I need an industrial strength because in Sweden we actually build houses properly. So our concrete houses foundations is reinforced with rebar or whatever shit. So the Wi-Fi signals doesn't really penetrate the walls very well.
I know.
So,
If
yeah.
that's a story you're sticking to, then fine. Anyway,
Yes,
Ark,
my nuclear
thank you
shelter.
for dropping by. Any last messages you want to give out, as this is going to be our final official show for this year?
everybody have a wonderful holiday. Drive safe, war drive safe. And because I didn't say it at any point, I just want to say thank you to the community. You're the reason that we do this. And thank you to you guys for the wireless shit show reloaded. I love the new format and I'm honored to be on. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming by.
We honored to have you here,
Thank
man.
you, Mark. You're the man.
The honors out.
Miss
So
your
anybody,
face, buddy. Can't wait to see you at Shmoo.
go support Wiggle. Give him a 5. Kudos.
Giving a beer.
retweet.
He likes red wine.
Mastodon, whatever. If you're harvesting, if you're trying doing shit with Wiggle, fuck you.
Or get better. Ha! Just kidding.